There we go. I think that's better. All right, let's get started. Like, I was going to say my normal disclaimer. I don't need to do that. I have a new screen, so everybody read that information as you log on or watch my video. Just understand, do what's best for you. That's what we always say on my channel. Do what's best for you. And let's look at my screen. I'm kind of trying to step up my game a little bit on my live stream and maybe open to feedback. I don't know what it's going to look like on your end in a minute, but let's take a look. So we'll take a look here. We'll just kind of let this play out and see how it looks. And again, I'll look at your comments for feedback. We could tweak it, but I'm trying to add a few more boxes, just make it a little bit more organized for our viewers, especially people that come back and watched it. They can try to see the chats and things like that. That's kind of the idea. So we'll just wait and we'll just get an idea and see how everything looks. And go from there. And let me see here. A couple things while we're getting people to call in. And I'll have to watch it back myself and probably tweak some things when I watch it. So anyway, what a crazy 48 hours. What's happening in the market, guys, is massive fundamental investor confusion with these tariffs and the pin action associated, trying to connect the dots, figure out all the permutations and combinations, right? They're trying to figure out all the permutations and combinations of news events. This news will generate that news, which will generate this, but not that. And they trade and trade, and they're trying to play this big chess game in their mind, the market, and it doesn't work like that. The market never works like that, and people are frustrated. AMD is frustrating the chess player trader. It makes no sense. Why is it going down? I don't get it. I see an anger. We're getting close to a good area to buy AMD, but I could see the chess player traders are frustrated. The tariffs make no sense. Why would it go up? Why is it going down? So we have to ignore the news and just trade these charts. And then trade each chart on its own and not try to interconnect charts even like some traders do, because you'll talk yourself out of trades or into trades you shouldn't. Yeah, too much right border makes the chart small. Okay, let's fix that. I'm going to try to fix that real quick. Again, this is kind of a new thing. Let's try to just see play around. I'm going to play around here. So that's better. I'm not sure what the other little boxes will look like on your end. I can't really quite see them, but we'll just go with it for now. And it's a work in progress, under construction. And we'll figure it out. We'll hopefully figure this out, right? We got some boxes, so yeah. Let me just play around while we get more people to join, and of course I'll go right to the super chats. Yeah, I have to play with this, because yeah, we lose the screen, but I know people like to watch the video after. Maybe we could get rid of this, kind of condense that a little bit, do something like that. And again, it won't be perfect, but we'll just kind of go with this, and might get watermarks. Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah, we'll just kind of figure this out. I'm just trying to make it work for all viewers, even the ones that have to watch it later. Because they don't, they're not seeing all these chats and things, and it's kind of probably confusing to go back and watch it, right? If you're not getting that information. But we'll make it work. We'll make it work. So yeah, the market is what I think the market's doing right now, again, is my chart is still got more upside in this market. More upside. I know a lot of people probably would feel I'm like a perma bear. I think they call it perma bear. I'm not perma bear. I'm actually both. I could be a bear and a bull at the same time. And a lot of people can't do that. They don't know how to do that. But let's go into the charts, guys, and go into your super chats. I'll just jump into super chats, and then I'll circle back on comments. AAOI, thanks for the super chat. Ojo, you didn't. Yes, you did. Ojo, you didn't. Yes, you did. Okay, so you know, let's see here. AAOI, Applied Electronics. It's one in our list here. There we go. It is in our buy area. You see that? It's in our buy area here. It's in our buy area here, right? But we need to check a couple things. We don't just we just don't start buying, right? Just because it hits our area. Now this is a nice three-wave move, and a little bit of divergence here, but that's probably seeing the divergence in that impulse. Let's look at the weekly time frame. No divergence. Weekly oscillator reset. I'll get rid of that. But yeah, you get the idea. So it is a buy opportunity. It may have already started to reverse with that bullish engulfing candle on the daily right here. So I think you got a lot of signs that this wave 5 is becoming born, right? Is born, and this represents a trade idea. This is a trade idea, as you can see, trade idea right there. So this is obviously very, very bullish right now. Bullish. So that's how I would look at this. Bullish chart and a trade idea. Not saying I'm going to take it. I'm not saying you should buy it. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if it rallies from here and makes a fifth wave. Or if you get lucky, it extends higher. It looks like a nice, pretty impulse that's about to finish up. That's what this looks like to me. Good luck on your on this stock. All right, UPS. Yeah, UPS took a dump in earnings, right? It took a crap in earnings. UPS did not do well. That's okay. That's okay. Let's take a look at what we've got. And looking at UPS Industrials, there it is. Where's UPS? And because believe me, I noticed when it crashed, like, oh, let's go buy it. I'm not ready to buy it here. I take a look at this. You're like, where's the connector wave? Where is X? It's a mystery. It doesn't seem like we've even really bounced in X yet. But it's so, maybe here, or is it here? Well, the RSI could help us. So let's take a look. You see that? And you see that, boom, that capitulation right there? There's your W. So that's got to be your W. Now the X would have been nice to get a bigger bounce, to get a real nice recycle reset. We never got that. So could we still be an X? Could we still be an X? I think we could be. And the market is going to do one of those destroy the bears, destroy the bulls, expand it flat. This is a very evil, sinister pattern that they play, right? Now, it would make no sense why this would happen fundamentally, other than technically it would make sense. And then it would allow this to correct back up, and then we can go down and why. So where would be supported if this is going to happen? If this is going to happen, where would we expect that kind of reversal? Right? Where would that end up? Right here, 110. So what do I think? I think it could be a trade, but I wouldn't be surprised to get a rug pull at some point. A rug pull. And depending on how high X goes, the target may move up. The worst case scenario is there is no. It is done here. It's a connector, a very weak connector. And then this is another three-wave move, another three-wave move, and it needs to seize a finish and impulse down, and we're not even done wave one. We need 2, 3, 4, 5. But to see it go further down after, you know, where what it's gone through already would be tough. Would be pretty tough. So let's look at some of the other indicators like we have, like the stochastic RSI. As you can see, the daily needs a bounce soon. The weekly may show some bullish divergence. Look at that. Another sign that we still may be in X, because right here you've got bullish divergence right there, and even here, which is also another sign you're in X. When Y comes, we'll actually take this low out. So my chart is something like this. Why would it do that? I have no clue. What news fundamentally will reverse its fortunes like that? I don't know. But something seems like it could happen. What would negate the view is if we push lower, with more dramatic selling. If we start to take out this peak on the shorter time frames. So let's take a look at like the 4-hour. Let's look at some of these shorter time frames. Okay. So we are at the low here on the 4-hour. That's a perfect third wave of this move. Here the daily. So perhaps if the daily starts continuing lower and we start to take this out, then I would be worried. But it's a dangerous trade. I would never take it. I would be on the sidelines and I would be waiting either for $70 or waiting for a push up and then getting a new target. But this is a no trade area, and I need a new text box for no trade. I gotta add that, no trade. So this, if I could flash that up on the screen, I would say no trade here is what I would think. But I wouldn't be surprised you get something like this. I would not be surprised. So anyway, good luck with that. All right, 6737. Let's take a look. I have $4 calls for March 21st. You know, and again, I think young people watch this, so I gotta watch my language, and so I can't. But I get the idea. Hive, man, Bitcoin. Oh, you know, what is crypto up to? I mean, crypto's been tricky for a lot of investors. Now it's below its support, right? The support resistance is like a 101, right? It's below that, so it's got a ceiling. It's got to overcome. So don't fall into the trap, the FOMO trap, that this is over by any means. I did update my count though on Bitcoin. So just real quick, guys, as you can see, I'm looking, because this bounce was so strong and it's done in 3 waves, it doesn't support an expanded flat, which is good because that would create dramatic more downside if this low breaks. So what we're looking for is 1, 2, 3, a connector, and then down. Could we spike back up to 106 and then come down again? It's possible. It can easily happen. Again, I've got a couple things. Again, there's a lot of ways to look at this correction in Bitcoin. You're like, why do I care about Bitcoin? I want to know about Hive. Well, Bitcoin is the king that drives the kingdom of crypto. If the king falls, so does the kingdom, no matter what you own. So here, again, we just look at this pattern. It's probably something like that. Connector. And then this is another 3-wave move here. And this looks like a 3-wave, so it's probably another ABC within that W here. Like that, like that, like that. That would be perfect, right? Very, it's in harmony, symmetry, perfect. This would be so perfect if this happened. And this target is hit, which I've had since we were back here, essentially. Now, could it be that easy? I doubt it. That's why I worry that it's not this, and it's a little different look, where really your connector is here now, in this this is the third wave is right there, and it's just so shallow, and it's something more like this, something like that. So there's two bearish scenarios, and of course the bullish path is it's already finished, right? It's already finished. But if the bullish path is already finished, this is only three waves, three waves, three waves. So I don't see five waves. So then is this a peak and this is some lead in diagonal coming out of the peak? I doubt that's the peak and that's a 1-2, 1-2. No way. So this is what I'm left with. It's a very complex structure, and I think it's still just a sideline. So it's another one that's a sidelines, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it resolve lower. No matter what happens here, so is your calls messed up? If you believe it could do a third wave, if this is a connector, I think you'll be all right in your calls, and because this move should happen relatively soon, right? Now, the 4 hour is kind of going against you here, but the daily isn't. So the daily supports the idea that this is a connector, or maybe we're lucky and it's a low, and then you get another wave higher up to the 106. The more bearish, by the way, there's a more bearish, even another bearish scenario. So there's three bearish scenarios, and here's a third one. That my original chart was right, and it is still an expanded flat. And now we just moved down in five waves, like that. And it's a 1, and we come all the way back up to here, and we drop. Again, between the 2 and the 4. And we do something like that. Now, your call could probably be okay if that happened, too. But again, it resolves bearish. So you have 3 out of 4 scenarios are bearish in Bitcoin right now. That's the odds. So if you're buying calls, you're you know, you have a 1 in 4 chance of them working out long term. Now short-term trader, you have a connect. There's only one scenario where you don't bounce it. You just kind of go down and capitulate. So 1 in 4 chance you're not going to get a bounce here. So the odds are a short-term bounce, but I mean short-term like in the next 5 days. I mean very short-term. And then who knows? Then who knows? But we'll wait and see. But I think I wouldn't be surprised again if it's going to spike up and drop. That's probably what my preferred view is at the moment, and you'll just have to decide which one you want to go with. I think it's something like this, because the daily is already reset, and it's even crossing over. Now we could do something like this, a little dip down here, like you got, but it shouldn't bring the price down as much as you see in front of you. So I think you're gonna get, if I was a betting man, I would think it's gonna come back, and then who knows? I'd be surprised actually if it just drops, but if it does, I'll be ready to buy. So that's a Bitcoin explanation. So now we can look at Hive and decide if it's any different. But that's the general gist of it. So maybe it's a little bit of a bounce and then another push lower. Well, let's take a look. So Hive is in this. So we've had this count. We have it in a flat 3 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have your WABC there, and you have 3 there. So I mean, I look at this as a connector, and then you gotta go down in 5. Now, if this is 5, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's done right there, right? It should be. So this wave should be over. So either you're still in C, which would be oh no, right? And that means you'll rally back up to 367 and crash, and then this whole chart's blown up. If it's still or it's done. So it's very binary here. Or you'll create enough space and Bitcoin pulls back and it makes a higher low, but Bitcoin makes a lower low. I mean, I guess that's possible. But when I look at this structure, it looks like it's going to rally, and it should rally back to this area, the wave 4, at least. Or you're lucky, B's in, and it's got a pump coming. So, I mean, do I think your calls are messed up? I don't think so. I don't think so. But I'd be really watching this closely, because this could easily, let's see, the weekly is oversold here. The daily, see, the daily's got some more downside here. We did bounce with the divergence, So could we still? So here's the thing: if we actually make more lows here, let's say we make more lows, I think it's just still in wave 5. So I think let's say Bitcoin does drop again, doesn't rally back up, then I would look at this as a 1 2 1 2 1 2 in wave 5, and we would extend down to this area, and then yeah, your calls could be messed up, and then it could rally, and then your calls will be good. So you don't know how you're gonna play it. That's why I hate like calls and puts, because it's so hard to get the timing right. Because it could still drop and then recover by the time it expires. We don't know. So there really is no sign wave 5 is over yet. We could still be in wave 5, but I do see 5 waves. So maybe it's done. Maybe I'll extend lower in a 1 2 1 2 1 2 for a big push down. If that actually happens, then that favors the Bitcoin scenario where there is no bounce. It's just going to drop back down to 86,000 and end the correction. If think about it, Bitcoin drops to 86,000, Hive drops, everything's in sync, the market's in sync, and we can go higher. So I would say, you know, the odds are your calls are okay, but there is a chance though you get that drop, but it's I think a 1 in 4 chance. But those are the odds, and you'll have to decide what you want to do with it. But right now, the market is trying to make that decision. It is frozen in place. It's frozen. See how it's frozen? It just doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know what to do, but it will decide soon enough. Okay, let's go to the next super chat. One Road DAV. Let's see, Lum, Lumn. Lumen. What's that looking like these days? All right, so wanted this wave 4, but we got another high. What does that mean? We have an impulse. That's good. And look, that's 3. So it's corrective. That's a bullish situation to be in. But let's look at the bigger picture before we get too excited about what this chart is. And again, TradingView messed us up. Let's get rid of it. Start again. 3. So again, we start from the beginning. 1 2. It looks like just I mean, I could force a 5 wave label off the low here, off this low. 1 2 3 4 5. I would put it there, and then you would have. So I think that's what we had originally. And then in a C, and we need an impulse, but we didn't get an impulse. So that means this label in here was off a little bit. So we must have a big extended 5th wave is all. And this is 3, that's 4. And 1 2 is, we can't even see it on the chart. It's probably happened back in the 1980s, 1 2. So so knowing that this is your 4, this is a 1 2 3 4 5 in a 3 wave and in diagonal. Let's just take a look at that real carefully. Again, I just want to study this. This is important. Yeah, see, I don't like that. You see that reset right there? So we'd have to label this as the 3, the 4, and we just have to say that this is the 5 or this is the 5. And again, I still keep coming back down. So we'll leave this alone. We're just going to leave this as a 1 for now, and we're in some kind of 2 in an ABC. So it was I'm still going with the flat. We're going to go with the flat, and then we're going to say that this is the 5th wave of the flat. But the 5th wave is pretty extended, which is not typical. Usually the 3rd wave is, but there's no rule that says it has to be the case. And you see all that. That's the 3 of 3 of this C leg, and then there's your 4. So, and you see how you made this whole corrective structure reset. So this correction is over in 3. Yeah, so we're going to have to, you know what, we're just going to have to force the chart and just say that's 1. And that correction's over. We really have to, and the labeling of this I just have to spend more time on, but I have other questions to get to. And then here you have 5 waves up, right? It's pretty obvious. Here you got 5 waves. And now you're pulling back into 3-wave move. Now here's your wave 4. Now here looks like 3 waves up. You see your peak. Let's get rid of this real quick so you can see, you guys see better. This peak is here. It's not here. So that's your 3 probably. That's your 4. And that's your 5. And this is a big flat correction. And you did something like, you know, maybe 3 waves down, there. And then you have, see, this would have been a great area, but it went down another leg, and you corrected that move. Let's look at the stochastic RSI real quick. You only really have one cycle. And there's 5 down here. I think it's going to go lower, but this is correcting this move down. So here's how I see it. Again, I'm not trying to force a count on anybody here. I'm just trying to look at this logically. It's that, and now you're correcting this move, and that seemed like something like that probably, and then I'll continue lower to finish this out. And this is your target area, the wave 4 low, right there, right here, 250. Eventually, it should get there, and then it'll do something like that. That's what I think is going to happen. All right, something like that. So good luck, and stay safe trading out there. But that's how I look at it. I think this low is solid, given the 5 waves up. But this pullback, because we broke that low right there, I think we'll push it down another swing at some point when this leg is over. So for me, it would be a no trade. But down here, maybe you would take a chance at it. Let's see here. Let's see here. What else do we got? Loom, Snapchat. Okay. Snapchat on earnings. This was an earnings play to the long side. I have watched this, and there it is. There's our chart, right? Something like that. So we're looking for this little pump here. And we've been playing Snap pretty well. We've always gotten Snap right, but like all good things, should come to an end. But I believe you've got this C leg, and then another consolidation, and another something like this. This is kind of the shape of it. What I'm thinking we're gonna see. And then after this, who knows? But I do think this is the area, and I was expecting this reversal. So this was a long play in earnings, and again, I am going to start a subscriber service on YouTube, and these are the trade ideas you'll get before, because I can't give these all on Twitter. Like I barely, have time, and I track hundreds of stocks. But if you subscribe, Snap was a watch list for an upside move like this, and it worked out. But those are the things. If you subscribe, you'll get that kind of heads up for these trade ideas, right? I can't tell you to take trades. I can just give you an idea. This was my idea. The idea seems to work. If earnings continues with the follow through, I think it had post earnings. Let's see here. There it is. See? But it's not like going to be like that, right? It's going to end soon. And we could probably project where a target is, where the target could be. $15 is kind of the area where it's at risk for a reversal. Right there. Right around there. And then you can pull back and to do it all over again. That's the idea. Okay, Dylan. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I've tried to do more live streams and trying to do more of this, put more time into my channel, polishing it up a little, and I will do subscriber and then member only live streams. And the idea is member only live streams 5 free symbols of your choice when I do member-only live streams, only for members, and only members can watch them. But that's to come. Of course, if you don't want to be a member, I'll still do the free ones like I'm doing now, but not as often, of course. XYZ. Yeah, that's a good one out there that keeping an eye on, but it's tied up with crypto, so it kind of trades with the crypto complex. I noticed it kind of like is related to that. So typically, if crypto's weak, Square, Block, XYZ is weak, right? Is usually weak. Too. Let me pull that up here. So yeah, XYZ. I have this very bullish setup, but I do see some danger signs that you need to be concerned about if you're trading it. We had somewhat like this little bull flag breakout. We tried to back test it here, right? We tried to back test it. We tried to back test it here. Let me get my little arrow symbol here worked out here, or I'll just use the brush. See, we tried to back test it right there, and it failed, and now it's back in the bull flag. So that's not good. That's not good. I mean, I have to sugar, but the count's the count still, right? We still have a count that that we want to pay attention to, okay? Because it's got a 1-2-1-2 setup still, as long as this low holds at 84.45. So we'll know soon enough. I think again, Bitcoin breaks out, this will go, but we also respect this is only 3 waves. So what if we're still in wave 2? A break below 84 also would bring us back into, you guys hear my dog barking here. So it brings you down here. It just does. And again, you can't get mad. You just have to understand that's the way the market is. Market's not ready. And now that may be Bitcoin 86,000, but here it is 75. So it would just be another buy opportunity, just a different level. And I don't know if that's some kind of trend line. Let me see. Yep, trend line. So here's your trend line target, too, right there. So could it do that? Well, it's possible. We do have some warning signs. Let's go to the higher time frames. Let's go to the daily first. The daily's wide open. That's dangerous a little bit. The weekly, though, not really, but it's not really oversold, so the weekly could still push down. The monthly, that's not good either. Although the monthly could still stay overbought, just like it did here. But it's crossing over, but not enough to get me worried. It's not like wide open. But what I do see is, yeah, I could talk myself into this taking another leg lower. And hopefully, like my alert that I gave on Twitter, we were here, we got this pump. Hopefully you guys took some profit on that pump or did something with your position size. If you didn't, then, that's the way it goes. That's why I said tick tock, there's a lot of news event risk out there. The market can rug pull. Know where you are in the cycle. In the future's great. Short term could be painful, quite painful in the short term. So I would just label it bullish until proven otherwise, though. We're just going to label it bullish, and then you can decide how you want to manage your money, manage your position. But if you do believe in this count, you would just market buy it right here and put your stop at 84. You're risking $2 for gaining, quite a bit. Low risk, high reward. But you're back in the bull flag. Typically, when I see that happen, it unravels. I'm just saying. Usually, when the bull flag breakout fails, a lot of people chased it. Dumb money market bought it at the top, and now they're going to panic sell and dump it. And it's just the way the market works. But maybe they'll support it in the next 24 to 48 hours, and we'll see what happens with it. But if it doesn't, then it's still in 2, and this will be the next buy area, and this will become a bearish chart against this low. Just remember, we're still in this correction, right? But this is the count. Good luck on XYZ. Next question. UAL. Let's go to UAL. UAL is an airline stock that we did predict would pump on my channel, one of my live streams. Maybe it was you. I don't remember who asked about it, and it pumped. Now what comes next, right? It actually went higher than we even expected it could. Oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no, is this it? Oh my gosh, right? Like, oh, this is worrisome, right? It's worrisome. Oh no. Because I show 5 waves up and we're starting to see a reversal. And we could be starting our retrace lower. This almost looks like a head and shoulders top. Very, very dangerous chart to be long at the moment. Would I short it? You could if you want to stop out at like 117. Now, we could still be in 2. It could come back and try to retest this high. But this is where I'll be going with. So good luck. I mean, it could easily be this as well. And then it's a lights out. Lights out. Or you get a little more pump. The more bullish count is you're still in 5, and this was 2 here, and that's the more bullish count. So let's take a look here. Daily. I mean, you got bearish divergence on the weekly, okay, but you don't have a weekly. You don't have confirmation of the correction yet. The daily. You know, you're obviously in a wave 5. Like this whole chunk is obviously wave 5, but this 3 may even be lower, maybe not labeled. But I mean, this is bearish, and it should push lower. And then you have this like head and shoulders looking thing here. This should drop it lower. So seems dangerous to me on the daily. Also on the 4-hour, even more pronounced head and shoulders on the RSI. Now, the only saving grace is you had this thing turning up. Now, so that's a sign. So maybe if the 4-hour can break that trend line, you'll get this wave 2 go a little higher. And maybe you get lucky and even take this out, and this could turn into a flat. It'll turn into a flat, and then drop later like that. I think looking at the 4-hour, that's what I'll go with for your chart. I still think it's in a top-in process. I wouldn't, you know, if you woke up and it was down 10, 15%, I wouldn't be surprised. But looking at the 4-hour, I'm thinking maybe something like this is what you'll see, and then you'll have the chance to buy it again later. We think. Let's look at the longer, bigger picture. Well, bigger picture doesn't look good, right? It's only 3 waves. So we need this big pullback, and then we actually need to take the high out. So we could have a 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, and then the whole cycle's over, and then we come back down and do it all over again. So I would be careful. I'd say maybe shorting it wouldn't be a good idea here because of the 4-hour. I think it could become B, which could break this high. So I think it's really, again, sidelines, and I would be waiting for a really big follow through down before I would worry about selling this position. Okay, Mike, Geo, dip buy. When's a good dip buy on Geo? Let's take a look. Yeah, Geo Group. I think this is it. We've looked at this before. All right, so we had this breakout. Now this is interesting chart. We're probably off by a swing on this labeling, but let's look at this closely. See, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see here. So we're looking for like more of like a 1, 2, 1, 2. I think we didn't get a 1, 2, 1, 2. I think we're more like a classical impulse. So we're gonna relabel this a little bit and just kind of, it's like more of a classical impulse up. It's probably 3, 4, 5. Let me change that. Okay. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Clicked on the wrong one here. Okay. So you're probably in some 3 here, and is what I'm thinking. Yeah, so it's a 4. So that's your 4 there. So we did break this low. We have a connector. So actually you have a target. You could look at dip buy opportunity. This is a dip buy trade opportunity, trade idea at 24.13. Somewhere here in this area. And you have 3. Should drop, maybe drop more, bounce, and then come back down. But that's a trade idea. So this is definitely a trade idea chart right there. And it's still bullish in my mind. Breaking this low, though, a lot could happen here. And I'm not saying it's just going to go straight down. It could easily rally and fail. It could become a triangle. It could do so many possibilities, but I believe it resolves lower. And drops down here, at least on the 4-hour and on the daily. So that's what I'm thinking. Another where you could target is the 618, and this would be the 5. So it would be a 50% back. So that's probably where we're targeting, somewhere here. So that's what I'm looking for. Good luck on trading that. But that's the game plan. That'll be the game plan. Alrighty, SPY. And I'll read through your other comments in a minute after I get through super chats. You know, here you go. SPY guy says the market. Here's the thing. The market is bullish, obviously, right? But everyone's trying to like think about all the news events out there. Well, the tariffs happen, then this happens, and that should happen, and then, you know, then therefore I should buy it. You know, or the yen is weakening, and because the yen's weakening, the dollar must be strengthening, and therefore oil must be doing this, and oh, Trump's going to open up the supplies, and you know, oh, and 100,000 eggs were stolen, so that'll take commodities down. Like we don't care about all the news. It's just a distraction, and actually used to manipulate you. It's used to manipulate your mind, right? And that was what happened with this Mexico-Canada tariff news here. But we had to buy on that already on my weekend video here. So where are we going? This is the SPY chart. I wouldn't change. There's no reason to think it's going to drop again. I just, there's no reason to think it would want to do that. You have perfect symmetry in these legs. There's no reason to be shorting it. Other than you could be ready for a 3 of 3 of this final push higher. So why would you short this here? So that's the SPY. I mean, now look, we've come off this low. We'll probably do a pullback, right? This seems like, but maybe we're not. So we have to go to the 15-minute time frame is highly inaccurate because there's too many possibilities. But I mean, that could be your 1-2 right there. I wouldn't call it that. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it could be a 1-2 right there. 1-2. Could be that bullish. Now, could be a flat. Could drop. You know, that's why you don't want to guess. You just. So I do think if the market wants to pull back in the SPY, if it wants to do something like this, it's a buy opportunity against 590 or this low here, and that's how I look at the SPY. It's pretty easy. Would I market buy it here? No way. I never market buy anything, but I would say that if you didn't buy it here, you don't have a trade. You'd just be guessing for the 1-2, 1-2. Now you could guess right. All the you know, moon boys out there, the buy calls, you know, everybody's buy call. Well, they may get lucky again and get a 3 of 3 and a 1-2, 1-2 setup, but the ones that aren't doing that, you probably you could get a pullback down here, and then you could get another chance to go buy your calls with a little bit less risk. Now, what happens if this breaks? I think that's a serious situation with the chart if that breaks. We'll obviously come back to retest this low, but if this breaks, that implies the triple Qs are going to probably break this cluster of support, which more than likely will break this low And the triple Qs, their chart isn't as bullish because we're in the fifth wave here. I could call that over here. The NASDAQ may have already topped in 5 here. See that? Wouldn't that be something? Right? Now, we don't think it is. We don't think that's the case. But maybe it has. But I think it's going to extend. I think it's going to extend, right? And if it's going to extend, then this is very bullish. The setup in the NASDAQ. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Ready for an explosion higher in 5. But if I'm wrong and we do drop and break this support, then you got to start saying the NASDAQ's topped this cycle. And this cycle goes all the way back to October 22. That means it's a big bear market. That's a multi-month, 6-month bear market probably in the NASDAQ. If we've topped, but the first sign of that would probably be breaking this low, and that would be we would break this low. So I'm just saying the SPY is bullish, and that's where I look at it. I think it's bullish right now, bullish. It's a bullish chart that, you know, that I think you stay long. You don't try to top ticket. No matter the news and distractions out there right now. What we are looking for, the SPY, to mark the top, is what we saw, again, back in 1929. We want the weekly oscillator here, the stochastic RSI, to be overbought, ideally with bearish divergence. And we want the monthly oscillator to be wide open, which it still is, despite all this bullish energy. See that? If we see those two criteria met and we have new highs, the market probably is ready for your flash crash that all the bears have dreamed about. Because that's the setup you had into the October 29 crash. That was the setup, technically. In fact, my video where I showed the monthly, it was actually down here, wide open. The monthly was like here, and it was wide open, like that. After a 30% move in 4 or 5 months, the monthly still was like that, but the weekly wasn't. The weekly showed massive divergence. The weekly was up here, but it also showed bearish divergence, which was another clue. So we don't have that. We saw we knew the weekly was down here, which is why we weren't too worried about this low, and we got this rally. But eventually, all good things come to an end, and at some point this will come to an end this year. And when it does, a lot of people will lose a lot of money, which is what the market tends to do to people. All right, Eric, OTLK. Let's take a look at that. OTLK. Let's see here. I'm not familiar with that symbol. Outlook Therapeutics. Never heard of them, but that's okay. Let's see. It could be a go to zero chart. We see a lot of those on our channel. Yep, go to zero chart, but that's okay. We could still look at it. You know, looking at this, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with their correction, but I don't want to just jump to that conclusion. Here, let's see. What are so there's a big reset. So I just want to stare at this for a minute. Yeah, so there's 5 down, and there's your reset of the cycle. So anytime I see a chart like this, I like to look at it in 3 waves, something like an A and a B and now a C. So the question is, could we still be in B? Could we still be in B? It's possible. It's interesting to see how we took that out there. We took that out on that low. That low. So we finished this this move here, and then we broke it again. So there's your 5. There's your 5 down here. C, B, A. So A, B. See, I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I'm looking for, making sure this is not a connector. A. Let's see here. A, C, B, A. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough chart to analyze, but I would say that looking at the RSI reset right here, and then the capitulation move down, is that, see, we broke that low. So we're going to just label it as an impulse, and we're just going to impulse down because there's really no corrective structure here that I can follow. So we're just going to kind of label this impulse down and just kind of see where it takes us. We'll just kind of see where it takes us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One, two, three, four, five. Again, I'm just seeing where it takes us. There. Something like that. That makes sense. There's your bullish divergence for 5. You're in a 3 of 3 situation. Now you're in wave 5. So you see how you got these bounces after 5 waves? Let me go back and show this here. Here's 5 waves, you got a big bounce. This was 5 waves, you got a bounce. This was 5 waves, you got a bounce. Now you have this is 5 waves. So it's due a bounce back up to $19, back to this area of massive resistance at some point. But knowing exactly when it's going to happen is going to be really tough. So at some point, I would not be surprised to see a wick up into this area. I just you know, it's how you label this final push lower here, whether it's going to happen or not. Something like that would be ideal. And then something to this effect. And then we do it all over again. So I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. And you may just wake up one day and it's trading up here and you have no idea why, and then you know. But it's just gonna impulse down. I don't see it's a bear market. It's definitely a speculative stock. It's definitely you know, not, the only thing you would be doing is trying to play for the lotto pump play and hoping you time it just right, and you can get, and then you wake up in time or see it because it probably is up here in a flash and gone, and the computer has beat you to it. But that's what I'm thinking. Good luck with that stock. All right, JR, oh, Trade Desk. Yeah, Trade Desk. I have a personal connection to that company, man, only because it was one of my first big home run stocks. I mean, I bought it right after the IPO, YOLO'd in a bunch of money, and it just paid out. And that was the time when, you know, Kramer on TV was telling you not to buy it. It's so funny. They get it so wrong, but no one understood the company. But I understood the company, and we bought that. But now I mean, I think it's overextended, and this is a very shock chart. This is a shock. This is this is going to make people angry to see this chart. I mean, you're going to be angry if you're an investor. This chart is going to stir an emotional reaction. But there's a lot of reasons why I think this chart will do something like this. But I believe that the biggest one is the way we correct it back here. I don't think we got a deep enough pullback, and we started breaking these lows. I've always been worried about this chart being a very complex top-in process, and now the chickens come home to roost here because now you got the breakdown, right? This is the first warning sign that something much more dangerous is about to happen, right? With the breakdown right there, breaking this club position should have pushed higher. It has not. It's diverging with the market now. It used to outperform tech or perform what, but now it's a diverging in that. So I think it's a dangerous chart here if you are bullish and you're like, nope, this can't happen. I'll show you the buy area, and you can decide if you want to buy it or not. 193 would be the area. if this was still a bullish chart and this was a low, and this is some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, this would be the area, or maybe 5 is here, and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 1, 2. But this would be the area that it would bounce. If this is the chart, it won't even, it will just cut through this like butter. We'll be down in the low 80s before you realize what happens. And believe me, trade desk can move on earnings. Trade desk can move 25, 30% on earnings like it's nothing. Trust me, I know. I know this stock. It can do it bullish and bearish. So don't think for a second it can't just wake up and it's down here. It can do that. It's a very dangerous chart. If you bought it up here, you know there's a lot of risk. I'm just saying there's a lot of risk. Now if you held it down here, I mean, I don't know. I'd probably still hold it. But if this chart plays out, you know, we'll have a good opportunity. But I think this is what I'm looking for. But this is an area. This is the moment of truth where the rubber meets the road here. Let's look at the long term and see what the long term says. So let's look at the weekly. You see that? That's going to break down. So that's a massive. That's going to pull this down quite a bit. Now, is it susceptible to breaking down? Well, it needs a bounce first. So maybe looking at the weekly here, I mean, it could stay oversold for a little bit longer. So perhaps it's again more complicated here. Maybe we get this little bit of a flat. So maybe short term, does that have earnings coming up? Yeah, maybe earnings could be bad, but maybe it's not as bad as we think. Maybe this little bit here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it does the destroy bear, destroy bull, right? That it does something like that, right? Resets the weekly, and then we can drop. So that's possible. So that's looking at the weekly, just kind of looking at the weekly there, and then the monthly. Oh no, look at that. That's not what you want to see if you're a trader, long, investor. Momentum's dying. But we all knew that. We see it in the chart, right? We see the momentum dying. So could it do a little bounce, a tricky bounce on earnings to trap more unsuspected buyers? Sure. But is the momentum, yeah, it's turning down. So that's why I have my chart. This 50-50, if it's this, or it's the 1, 2, 1, 2, and we're ready to separate and drop, mostly on earning, I don't know. But I definitely, if I didn't have a position in it, I'd probably just sit back and watch it and wait for a better opportunity. Let's look at something else too. You see that? That's a lot of divergence. You see that's 3 waves. This monthly, this is why I think it's gotta get down and correct. All right, good luck with trade desk, guys. Now it broke the head. What would be an area to double the short? The double the short would be that C leg. So it's a couple ideas. If you get the C leg, you could try to double short there, right? It would if we get the C leg, you could try to get back in at, you'll probably get an opportunity at 132 again, 33, right here. So I'll draw that. So there, so you'll have that opportunity there. Again, if we break the high, you need to get out of the short positions. And then if we separate and run, then you got to let this play out. We probably will bounce in this area, probably turn into an impulse of some kind. So I would be looking for something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it would bounce. It should. Then you could reshort that bounce on this 3 wave. When you see a nice 3 wave move. But until then, I wouldn't do anything here. I would just be like, oh, cool, I got a good position. And I just know manage my risk, manage my money, maybe take a little bit of profit so you have something in case it's wrong and it pumps it. Because it can't be wrong. I mean, you could, but I think this little drop here, that little drop right there is a huge red flag. That's a huge red flag. If you would have held that low, you could have talked yourself into this as a flat, and it's wrong. But with that, now you're opening up more downside. No matter what happens here, if it wants to take that run up here. All right, some let's see here. Next one, Samantha, Meta, and AG. Meta's, very bullish, as you can imagine. And I don't remember what I had on my last update from Meta. Let's take a look at where we are with Meta. Where the heck do I have it? Maybe it's under my AI, but yeah, there it is. All right, there we go. So everything's going according to plan. Haven't had to change the chart. We're still pumping. Now this could be a 1-2, 1-2, 3-4, so more upside. So yeah, still more upside. I mean, let's see if we erase divergence. If we erase divergence, it keeps extending, right? We're about to take that peak out. So we're still in, probably still in 3 of 5 of this 5. I wouldn't be trying to call the top in this. You just is like, I would just label it like 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3-4, 1-2. You could put it there like that, but I think it's so strong. It's probably more like this. And you're still in 3. You're in 4. And you're in 5. Something like that. If we could accelerate more, then it's over. Now, I can easily be off by a swing. So if this is right, you're almost at the end. I still think there's a little more upside, regardless. But I think this is coming. Tick tock market. This is coming. The bear market, like the end of the October cycle, 22 cycle. And if we're lucky, we can come back to this wave 4, and everyone can get back in on it in the low 500s and high 400s if you're lucky. But we'll have to let that play out. But there you go. That's the count. Good luck on that. AG, silver play. Silver play. Silver miners. Let's take a look how that one's doing. Up 7%. Good day today. Still looking for this big breakout. And here we're trusting the chart. Right? 3, 1, 2. So this could be a couple things right here. This is a mess. One, I only see 3 waves. Okay. So there's a lot of possibilities, and I'll just show you a couple. We could still be in wave 2, and we could do like an A, a B, and a C, and that's 3 waves, and come back up and drop, and then finish 2. We could also be done here and drop and C in a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then more than likely I would break that low, which would not be good. That means this would be a connector, which would pretty much destroy it. It would be a go to zero type chart, which would be basically we're saying it's going bankrupt or something, which would mean I have to think it'd have to be in a massive inflation scare or something, or it's nationalized. Hopefully they're an American miner. You got to be careful with these international miners because you don't want them nationalized, especially in a trade war. Okay, it's in Mexico. All right, I don't think Mexico will nationalize their mines, but maybe in a financial crisis, it's every man for themselves, and they'll just take what's for them. I'm hearing stories that gold's out of the vault, and there's not enough gold in the vaults and things like that. If that's happening, you better believe the governments are going to just take over these miners. So this is dangerous chart. So the other possibility is it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, not favored, and we pull back down. So I'm going to go with the flat scenario, which lines up with the rest of my forecast for the precious metals. And we're going to say something like this is probably going to develop like that. And then you have 3. This is 5, so C, B, A, B, C, so A. Yeah, we'll just kind of look. Let me just think about this for a minute. This looks like 5 waves. Let's check it out. Yeah, see, it's 5 waves down. That's pretty bearish. I see. I can't. I don't want to do that. I don't want to label it that way. But so I can't. I can't really label it in this 3 wave move that I have here with this 5 waves down. So yeah. So I mean, if I look at it again, that maybe this is a big ABC. No, we can't do that. Well, you know, darn. I think this chart is worrisome. I don't know why it would break down, but I think we have to start thinking about this low break-in. I just because of this is 5 waves down. This is 5 waves down to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if that's 5 waves down, it's not a flat. So if I'm trying to draw a connector, it's a C, B, A, B, C, but it doesn't have the right look. Like I wouldn't put 2 there. So I think the best way to play it is you got to let this develop more. I don't have enough data to do it, and I'm not willing to call that it's gonna collapse. But I would just be careful. So I think we'll just kind of leave it like that. But I do think if this low breaks, the chart is toast. This whole is game over. And I don't know what that means, but I'm just telling you what I see. So just manage your risk accordingly. But there is a warning sign not to be too bullish on this particular stock. Maybe there's other miners that aren't so bearish looking, but this one looks kind of bearish. I'm just going to label it like this. Maybe it's truncated, but maybe it can push a little lower and make sense later. But I think the most important thing is you want to be above 445, and it does look like this impulse is over. So more importantly, you want to be above 513. If you're above 513, then perhaps you can get a blade and it could just keep pushing higher, and then we can call this done here and just be done with it. Okay, guys, that's all I got there. RXRX. Yeah, RXRX has been in this weird spot. One of the few small cap kind of thematic AI type that hasn't done really nothing. Right? It's kind of just like, yeah, it's moved around a little bit, but it hasn't really. Let me see if I can find it here. It hasn't really done anything to like excite me. Where the heck do I have it? There it is. All right. So I gave a trade alert on this on Twitter when we were here, and we're trying to come out of it. It's trying to turn out of it. Almost looks like Celsius chart almost. It's a mess. But I think if I was trading it, this is the low, this is the 5, and we're just kind of building off of that. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, I'm just going to try to label what I see. If this is right, it's about to have a mega pump, right? If what I have here is right, this will have a big pumps, right? And that's 1, 2. And then that would be 1, 2 right there. Yeah. And see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So I'm gonna label it the bullish pump. So this could be super bullish, guys, if this is right. And we break out of this. Super bullish right here. So I think it's very bullish. I think it's a very bullish chart, and obviously it's being defended here. Look, and it's where I would have bought. I mean, you had to think about it. It first hit the buy area in August, so people have been accumulating this since August. So I don't know what's going on here now. This could be something else, but I think this is the bullish setup. but it's coming to a conclusion soon. We're coming to the kind of the apex here, right? It's coming to a conclusion, so we'll know who's right soon enough. But given this market, everything seems to be breaking higher, especially a stock like this that's driven with AI and everything else. So I think this is very bullish. I think this is a breakout alert, and you can decide if you want to take a chance and see if the odds are in your favor or not. But anyway, let me read your rest. Playing it up and down. Yeah, I see it's bullish. I see it as a super bullish setup. Anytime I see 1 2 1 2 1 2, that's the explosion setup for explosive moves higher, and that's the setup. But we need a higher high to get it going, but it can unravel just as fast with a lower low. So we're coming to a decision point. But look, we're up here. Bulls are ready to break it out. So maybe we can all get on the E-Trade and whatever Robinhood and buy it in the morning, and let's push it out and let's get this thing going, because that's what it looks like. It wants to come out of this. And then bigger picture. Again, we've been following this for a while. We have a 1 2 1 2 with almost the same fractal, but just at a higher look. It's almost like the same fractal. Look. So it's almost certain it's probably going to come back up to 14, right? The fractal almost tells you that, like, it's been trading between those levels that I just showed you earlier. It's doing the same thing here. So why this thing's being accumulated? The price is being suppressed out. Somebody wants a lot of this and wants it bad. So maybe out of all this shit, this AI stuff, maybe in 25 years, 30 years, this is the one you wish you were in, because I mean, this is massive accumulation happening on the higher time frame and even on the shorter time frame. I don't know what these guys do. I think they do like AI drug discovery, but maybe they're going to discover something big, and I don't know. But I know Nvidia's got a piece of them. They've invested in these guys. So it's a very bullish chart. It'll take a lot of selling to break this support. But it's boxed in. This is obviously being boxed in by the market makers or somebody. This is being boxed in. And then it may come back up here and do it all over again. We may be boxed into these levels here and here for a while. So whatever pump, we may only get up to here and then may come back all the way down again. I mean, we don't know how long this game's going to go on. All right, a big super chat, options operator. Thanks again. I love big super chats. Let me go through your questions here. Let's take a look here. TRY. Turkish lira futures. Is that what you want, or you want something else? Is that I don't know. I mean, put in the comments, please, if that's what you want. I'll go to your next one. I just want to make sure that's what you meant. All right, HURA. Bioscience. All right. So we broke that low, but that's okay. We'll just label it 5 waves with a pullback right where we'd expect it, and then we're gapping out. So it'd be something like this, and then you come out. So it just took a little bit of a detour, but the path still remains. So if this chart is right, this is what I would be expecting it to do. See that? Kind of, I'm gonna, it's not perfect, but you get the idea. Breakout. Let's look at some of the other indicators. Trying to break out, not much from, let's go to the daily. Yeah, the daily's overbought, the weekly, so you got a lot of upside potential on the weekly. The daily isn't. So maybe we'll see another pullback. Let's just make sure. I mean, it's possible we could still be in 2. I'll draw this up. Perhaps it's this, and then out, false breakout, push it back down. So just watch out for this trickery. And the only reason I think that could happen is the daily is crossing over to the downside, but the weekly isn't. This will support this, the weekly, but the daily shows maybe you have some tricks, you know, some games you'll have to deal with before you come out of this pattern. All right. May have meant Tilray. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, Tilray. I was like, Turkish lira. I'm like, you're the first. I don't think anyone's ever asked me about that. Um, all right, so Tilray, we got a nice bounce where you wanted it to, but it failed, right? So again, as you trade, we get these buy areas, we get a bounce. So you should always take some profit because you want something to show for it, especially when you get a bounce like that, right where we wanted it. Because there's no guarantee it's just going to keep going, right? It could fail. And if it fails, at least you had something. You left with the casino with some money, right, in your pocket. If you just held, you're not trading right. You have to be a good trader, not just a good chartist. So we got the bounce, but it failed. So what does that mean? It means it's just going to extend lower, but the correction hasn't ended yet. That's all it means. So let's take a look at where we are with it. We're going to definitely have to look at it in a different through a different lens as it breaks down more. So these were the good old days. I remember this. I even remember that. Those were the good old days. Now, one of the things I like to look at is the fractal. You see how the fractal broke this low? And you see how it had this pump here? See how it had this pump here, and then it broke down? And then look what it turned into later. That's probably what's happening here. Just a similar kind of situation. Pump, we break down, and then we have a mega pump. So that's what I think is going to happen. That's probably what's going to happen here. And then if we come back, when we got this breakdown here, you know, how far did we go? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connector, 1, 2, 3. So you really only had, this was a big three-wave move down. See, capitulation. We have no capitulation. So I wouldn't really be looking for a level. I'd be looking for something like that. So I'd be looking on the daily time frame and even the weekly. I want to see that do something like that and take out all those wicks. And then I know I'm probably near the low. See the weekly, the same thing. I want to see that. So I think there's more downside. I want to see some more capitulation in it. But what a great opportunity for a trade, just like it was back then. But I think it's going to have, because a lot of people did not, they have trapped, they're going to panic more. And we need to wait and see. So this was A, B, C, D, E. So there's your peak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 1, 2. So we have to label it like 1, 2, maybe like that, and then something like this. And something like that. Something like that. Some kind of capitulation. That's what I'm thinking we need. Daily is wide open. We need to come down. The weekly is wide open. Need to come down. The monthly's telling you it is at the end, but we don't have that crossover yet up. So I think you know, I'm just showing this label. I wouldn't be looking for like what's the level. I think you'd be looking for when you see that capitulation day, when people finally have just thrown in the towel and they want nothing to do with it anymore. Just like you saw back here. And this, I remember, was more about a market sell-off than a company-specific news event. So maybe that's what you need to wait for. He's like, keep Tilray on your watch list. Wait for the market sell off when this happens. This perhaps when this peaks. When we get this, then you buy Tilray, and when we get that, Tilray is going to have a massive gains. That's how I think it's going to play out. Just looking at it. All right. EXK. Let's see here. EXK. See here. Another silver miner. So this one here, you have a 3, so you'd probably put that there, put the 4 there. Ideally, you get like one more low, one more push down. Kind of like the other miner we saw, although this one looks a lot better, more room. So this one looks a little different. But it's the same idea. You really need to hold this low at 138, but I think it will. And that's a pretty big bounce already. Let's go to the weekly for a minute. Yeah, it's in a new cycle higher. So so we have to look at the labeling. So it's 3 waves down here. So this is 3 waves down. And so if that's 3 waves down, that's 3 waves up. So again, and that's 5 down. Well, actually, that looks like 3 waves down too. So you have like 3, 3, 3. So you're in, I think you're still in like a connector. But it's a little bit different look than the one we saw. But I think it's going to do, let's look at the bigger picture. Yeah, I'll just label it this way for now, and you'll have to decide how you want to play it. Yeah, see that's down here. But you see you have a little bit of divergence there. So you broke that low. Yeah, so yeah, it's kind of like, because it's only in 3 and then there's 3 up. It's kind of the same chart now as the other one. But you're more than likely still in B, and you get C later. So I'll be looking for something like this. Something like that. So I think you probably will break this high, come up here, and then a big drop, but this low will be respected, and then you get to something like that. That's probably what's going to happen, looking at it. All right, I think I covered everything. Thanks again. Or did I get HUR? Yeah, I got that one. Yeah, yep, I got it. Okay, thanks. Next, another big super chat. Thanks again. GME. Let's take a look at GME, guys. GME did break that low. Like I said, like the chart had the support, but then tariff news lost the pivot, and it just opened up more downside for us. But let's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had this 1, 2. Now we're in this mess. My guess is probably still wave 2. So we're probably still in C, but we're probably in this 2 wave still, and we'll come down later. This is probably something like this. Is what I'm thinking. Something like that. The Russell index, it doesn't really go 1 for 1 for the Russell, but again, you want to keep an eye on it. You see that if the Russell did bottom here like that, that should support GME, right? That should support GME. That should support GME. So if that is going to happen, then that's that chart I showed you with GME. That's what should happen. And then you'll just decide how you want to what you want to do with it. But I think this is it, something like that. This could even go even higher than that. You could do that. So we just don't know. I think that's it. You see how you have 3 waves? Something like that. TLT, yeah, let's take a look at our TLT. I'm still on the sidelines on that. Let's see here. The TLT. What is it up to? This is where I want to try to swing trade it for C. It's probably the connector. Let's take a look again. Let me just get my bearings straight. So we're in a B wave. So it's a very tough area to try to guess. It's a very choppy area. Looks like 5 down to B. And then who knows? And it needs to be in 3 waves. So it could do this, could do that, could do that. Something like that. That's probably what I think it's going to do. Something like that. Mess. I don't want nothing to do with it here. Just wait patiently. We'll hopefully can get it down here. Okay, USD GPY. Yeah, so that's also you know, typically if the yen strengthens, it's bad for the market, but not always. But most of the time. But you can't really rely on that all the time. Let's see here. See how the yen's already strengthened in there? But the market isn't crashing. So see, that's why you can't just go by that. So if I look at this chart, you have 5 down. You have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see we took that low out. So it's a 1, 2, 1, 2 setup. So the yen is strengthening. But the market is not crashing. Yet. Yet. Because it took a while last time. But again, we know it has nothing to do with it. It's just traders think psychologically it has something to do. That's why nothing's happening yet. If it was mechanically, we should be crashing right now, but we're not. So it's starting to move lower. Look, I'm not going to label it. It's starting its journey down here. At some point down here, everyone will panic again, like they did in August. You see, it took the end of the move. So probably down here is when everyone panics and goes crazy. The beginning, not really, nothing really happens, right? As we started topping out a little bit. But it looks like it's making its turn lower, looking for it down here at 134. And I do believe at some point, this yen carry trade, you know, all that talk will come back, probably somewhere around here. And then you'll get the capitulation. And props the market flash crash too. That would be the perfect world, but the world isn't perfect. But because most traders now are aware of this setup, and I am too. But so again, I wouldn't just trade solely on that, but it is something you want to think about in the back of your mind. It is opening up to the downside right now tonight. Okay, SPY. I gave an update on the SPY, and thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna try to start in the next week or two, and hopefully people find some value out of it. And I'm gonna have different tiers. One's very cheap, with just basic updates, and then others are much more involved. And trade ideas all in them. And as much as I can devote it, if I get more members, I can devote more time to the channel and get more services. And maybe one day even I can do that 100% of my time, and then I can really, submerge myself like some of the guys you follow do. It just be on all the time. But by now I can't do that. But I have to start building somewhere. I got to start from somewhere, and the more people that sign up, eventually I hit a critical number, and I can do this all the time for everybody. So anyway, here you go. Again, the SPY is bullish, right? So everyone's clear it's bullish. You should be not too bearish on this yet. We break this low right there, then I'd be more concerned. But the market's behaving as expected. And again, this is a ticking time bomb that will go off. I don't know if it's going to go this high, the swings will just play out. And again, what if I'm off? If I'm off and the tech is topped and not extended, well then guess what? It's over. It's over already. And this will break and I'll just so and then it's labeled. But I would say you could stay long and you just stop out. But you would have but if you've been trading using my system, you would have bought it here at 592 and then you would just let this pull back and stop out at 590, 592. You probably take some profit here, make some money, and then you have house's money and you're just going to run with it and you have nothing to lose. Now, of course, you could open up one day and it's down here and your stops don't fire off, but the odds of that are pretty minimal. But you know that's the risk. Or if you're playing calls, you could lose all your money potentially, depending on your setup. But if you just have the common stock, you don't have that much risk if you bought it here. Now where we are, so you just hold it. All right, next super chat. Donald, Netflix. Netflix hit 1,000. You watch my channel. I said it was going to hit 1,000, but then what did I say happens after 1,000, right? It's close to a cycle coming to an end, right? Just like Facebook or Meta. This looks like a classic wave 4 kind of consolidation. So I'd just be careful in it. Let's look at divergences. All right, so you never took this out. There's your 3. Now you're in your 5. So the bulls have to make a move in the next couple days. Now, if we could erase divergence, this wave 5 can extend, and this could become a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and then maybe even take this out, and it's a 1-2, 1-2, and it's like a big. So again, it's possible. I won't label it that way. But I wouldn't short it either. I mean, I'm just going to label it like I see it, and you could decide what you want to do with it. The pullback probably would take it back to 820 at some point later in the year. If this is the chart, if it extends, accelerates, and does a Palantir, then this is another 1-2, 1-2, and it's off to the 1400s. And it's hard for me to see what a catalyst would come out beyond what's already happened to generate that much more enthusiasm to drive it to that level, but I guess it's possible. All right, SPXL. SPXL almost hit the buy area here. I had very, very close, but it didn't. But it's bullish off of 169. It's 2 in a wave 5 area, and it's long against 169.74 and a 1-2 ready for 345. So it's kind of the same. I mean, it's the same count as what I showed earlier, and we'd be looking for like 208, 212. And also that's a major sell on the SPX. I don't know where this box came from. Let me go back and look. Yeah. The XPSL would be over, right? Let me see here. Let's just relabel that. 1, 2. Yeah, see. So here's an interesting thing on SPXL. It's like almost looks like the tech. It's different than the SPY, right? You have 1, 2. Something like that. A flat correction. And then, but you haven't taken this high out. So technically it could be finished here, right? If it is, oh my gosh, but I think given everything else, it's going to extend. So just like the other counts, this is a 1, 2. So actually it's probably going to go higher than 212 if that's the case. Still in the area of danger. And that gets you to 231. 240, maybe 250 would be a nice perfect round number to end the massive cycle. So that's kind of what we're looking at. I don't have the rest of it labeled, but that's what I'd be looking for. Something like that. And again, you want to see bearish divergence, just like you have here, as this plays out. If you erase divergence, it's going to keep going. That's why I said it's bullish right now. So good luck on that. I call it a 1-2, 1-2, and we come out. All right. Oh, I missed BB. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm looking at that. I'll go right to the BBI, and I always read the comments at the end, so don't no fear. BBI is another one. So we have this in this wave too, off this low. Again, big picture. We had the 1-2-1-2 setup, almost like RX, and then we came up, and now we have. So right now, this is a connector until we take out 508. If we take out 508, then it's 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. It's going vertical. So, it depends on how. I don't know if the market. Let's take a look. So that low can easily be broken. That's not enough capitulation. So this could easily be a connector wave. So again, and we never hit the wave 4 cluster. I wouldn't be surprised if this rally fails here and we make another low. It'll be a great opportunity to go long at 271 right here. So I'll just leave that. I think it's at risk for another dip lower, but if we could take this peak out, which is very close to doing, then it's that's off to the races. So it's a tough call. I would never short it. I would only be, if I wasn't long, I'd be praying for this dip to buy it. And if I was long down here when I've been covering it, you just stay long and see what the market does. But that's what I'd be looking for, something like this. And we'll just have to wait and see. But bigger picture, we should be higher in the future. Just this path is going to be real erratic here. I think though you get something like this. Okay, great. Mr. Wimbledon, SIDU. Let's take a look at that. SIDU. SIDU. Let's see here. So another one of these go to zeros, but we at least got a big reaction, so we'll call it bullish off that low. And we'll just label it from there. So it's gonna be hard to see if it's an impulse or not, but we'll do our best. Looks like an impulse. Right, it looks like an impulse to me. There's your 4 right there. So you have an impulse and you have 3 waves down. It's holding that low. But you have a lot of divergence there and you have a connector. I wouldn't be surprised to see it drop again to erase the divergence. So again, it's obviously correcting. I think it could easily hold that low here and make another swing higher. Why don't we just label it in 3 waves for now? So you have some kind of A, and now you're in some kind of B, and I think you'll get C. Now the problem is with B could be in 3 waves here and do something like this. And even break that low, which the market makers love to do. And then they pump it up. So it could do that. It could still be in X. And you get Y later. You get that. Or it is finished and it won't race. But I think it won't do that. I think it's too much divergence here. I think it will bounce. You'll get some kind of bounce. It's just we don't know where it's going to end up, and we'll come down to erase that divergence. And that's what we want to see. We want to see all that. Once we need to see that erased on the low, and then you know it's ready to go. That's not what I want to see. I just don't like to see that. Now the 4-hour, I mean, it has none here, but I think you have to really look at the 45-minute time frame. And I'd like to see the 4-hour come down. So that's how I look at it. I think you'll get another little pump and another pullback, something like that, and then it resolves higher in the future. All right, Anonymous, thanks again for the big super chats. Let's go through some of your crypto stocks. Hopefully you got to hear a little bit of my Bitcoin update earlier, so we'll go back through that. But basically for crypto, um, I think it's likely we can get a little bigger pump and then another drop. But I still don't like to trade. Nothing has changed for me where I was a week ago, where it's essentially no trade, despite what's happened. So at MicroStrategy, we're just holding. We have that three waves. This was our short potential area. I didn't say the short. I said potential. Now we have three, a connector, and we broke. Uh-oh. So now this definitely does open up MicroStrategy for more downside in a bigger connector. So let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's in a I think it's MicroStrategy is probably telling you Bitcoin's going to go lower, eventually resolve lower. But we all knew that. All right, so something like that. And my guess, something like that. Maybe we won't make it all the way down there, but something like that. And we want to again take this divergence out, come down. So I think that's where it is. But this is a middle area. This is a battleground. You should. This is no trade zone. This is just. There's so many permutations and Elliott waves on how to label it. I just think it's not resolved lower yet. And I could have been talked out of it, but with that wick breaking that low now, I believe it really does show the doors to the downside on MicroStrategy. Riot, again, nothing's changed my mind on Riot. We're still looking for 809. And this is five waves down again, and this is just another, it's just another connector wave, something like that. Very simple chart. Hut's a little different. Let's see here. Did it break its low at this X? It didn't. It held. Very interesting, but more than likely that's going to break. So more than likely we're going to go lower, right? It just seems likely that that's going to happen because I can't sit here and say that Bitcoin's going to do that and this will hold this low. I just can't say that. So we're going to have to just take a step back and look at this a little bit differently because given this is more complicated. Yeah, see we're about to lose the chart here. Once that breaks, it ends the whole cycle. But it ended it before we had the final swing. So it would turn into a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It actually would and see bearish divergence. So I'm gonna have to label it that way. So we're gonna change it. So it's actually good in the long term, but bad in the short term because now we have a bullish count. But the problem is it means it's gonna go lower. So we're changing it up. Again, long term, this should make you really happy, but short term you're gonna hate this chart. But this is where it's probably heading now, and we do know it loves to touch the wave 4, so it could even go deeper. But I believe that's where it's going. I believe they have you up 5 up, and now you're pulling back down and correcting this whole move, and then you'll come out. So we're just changing it to a bullish setup, and then this is in 3. And we have 3 down. And so here we need 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have either, so you're either in A still, in a 1, 2, 1, 2, or a 1, 2, 3, 4, and you get 5, and you pump, and so it's a lot. So I won't label it, but you get the idea. I think there's more downside, but I don't like to trade the short term. It could even still be an X. But I think likely we've seen with crypto so many times it likes to go between the 2 and the 4. So this is a big change in the forecast here. But we have to be realistic. Um, we haven't now again we haven't broken that weekly cycle, but it seems imminent that it's going to. Once this breaks, then this chart is now the chart. So I would say right now you could probably still try to hold a long position against 1874, but you understand like more than likely given the forecast in Bitcoin, the breakdown in MicroStrategy, there's breakdowns all over the crypto market that this is probably the chart that we need to go with now. GSOL and Solana is also showing some weakness, and but this chart is still holding up. So again, I can't explain it, but you better not be like I'm putting my whole stack in here, because if this resolves lower, it will create a massive move down. So this is definitely, you need to just use this as speculative lottery money here, because this is a very bullish chart, and it's at the end of, it's come to the end of the road. So Solana needs to pump here and now, and if it doesn't do that, it's gonna break down, and then this is a connector for this whole move. So you're looking at the next major support area, which is down here at $6. So that's a massive meltdown. So just be careful. But it takes risk to get the reward, right? And so there's a lot of risk, but a lot of reward. But I think you would be going against the grain. But I'll leave the chart the way it is until we break really this low here. Once we break that low, then we have to go with the more bearish chart. BCHG, we're still pushing lower. Could it be finished here? We're probably still in wave 5. We still want to see it in this $2 area. We almost got, again, I think there's more downside. If you look at Bitcoin Cash, it took the path of a bigger corrective move. So like we saw here, we're looking at first for like a 1-2, 1-2, but now we're in a bigger correction, and now the new target has always been 200. So we're not there yet, and I believe when Bitcoin Cash is there is when the market will really be at its bottom. So there's more downside coming here. So that's Bitcoin Cash. And then Litecoin. Litecoin, very different chart for some reason. It just missed the buy area. This was the bigger buy area, bigger, and we had it. We were just like, we'll just wait. And it looks like it tagged that, and it went vertical. And now, so Litecoin's a little different. So could be that. If not, if we break this low, then the coin's in a lot of trouble, because then we're retesting 52 easily retesting 52. Litecoin LTCN, again, we had the breakdown here, but we haven't really reached where we wanted to, right? We still need, and again, that wouldn't be the right way to label that. It would still be it could be 5 down, so it could do something. So I could do this, and this could be like a triangle, and C is finished, and X is finished, but this is a big truncation. We want to see a lot of capitulation, and we don't see that. So that's not the right way to label that, but even though that is a valid labeling. So more than likely, just like Bitcoin is some kind of 1-2 here, maybe it pumps back up to 12 or 13, and then it rug pulls. Something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it pump more in 2, get back up to here, and then drop again. It doesn't have to. It could still be ready to roll here. But I still think it's heading down to this area, this lower area. Okay? Let me look at the comments, and I'll wrap it up for tonight, guys. Thanks again for all the super chats, and I'm trying to change up my live streams, and I appreciate it. Yeah, just kind of scanning through comments. Sorry about the BBAI. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It happens. Yeah, I think a lot of people are worried that alt season isn't going to happen. A lot of despair in the alt market. Despair, right? That's the emotion. So I think it should I think you should get some pumps in altcoins this year. I mean, it'd be a strange cycle if that doesn't happen. Um, but I do see the sentiment is definitely depressed, which is good, a good sign. But yeah, Bitcoin's in this little mess here, and no alt season until this thing finishes up whatever it's trying to do here. So until this happens, you get no alt season. Now again, this could be the more bullish setup here, but I think it personally can either push down one more time, pump and come down one more time, or be the worst case 1 2 3 4 5 for a 1 2 and then 3 4 5, and then we come down to the lower in the 70s here. All right, guys, thanks again for everything. I'm going to wrap it up. Good luck trading, and we'll see what